Hey everybody, welcome back for another StatHouse Analytics game preview. This week we are previewing the Tuesday evening matchup in the Big East. Villanova traveling to Butler. And before we actually get into some of the lineups and some of the combinations and what we're seeing in terms of the game preview here, I actually wanted to take a quick peek at the overall team capsules page. When I first pulled this up, I actually did a double take and thought, am I looking at the same team twice? But in terms of just our raw possession numbers here, our overall efficiency rating, which is essentially just subtracting offensive efficiency minus defensive efficiency, has both Butler and Villanova rated at a .091. Fairly solid. Essentially, they're on average outscoring their opponents by 1 point every 10 possessions. But the similarities don't end there. And in fact, what we're seeing is sort of across the board they're spitting images. So offensive efficiency both clocking in right about .97, .98. Defensive efficiency, similar story. They both want to play the same pace, right around 3.8 possessions in their games each minute. And then even you get into the shooting percentages, about 74% from the free throw line, about 36%, 37% from three, even allowing a similar 3-point percentage to their opponents. I'd say the one thing that does jump out on this overall team capsule is the amount of free throws made by their opponents. And this is one place where it does look like Villanova is going to have a clear advantage. Butler has given up roughly 60 more free throws to their opponents so far this season than Villanova has. So I would look for that in this game. Can Villanova take advantage of this and get to the line more frequently in a game that could come down to a possession or two? I think that could be a key point that this game hinges upon. But as always, we want to take a dive into some of these lineups that each team will be featuring on Tuesday night. And I start with the starters, as always. If we take a look at Villanova's starting five, Jay Wright has a crew that I think he's very comfortable with. That's been given good results in Big East play. And to note here, the starting group that we're looking at is actually filtered down. We are filtered down to just the Big East games so far this season. And the starting unit is plus 29 in 37 minutes. That's great production. That's going to win them a lot of basketball games, and that's been the difference maker to Villanova's 5-0 start, is the consistent minutes Jay Wright has gotten from his starting unit. Now on the flip side here with Butler, not the same story. If we take a look at Butler's starters, 42 minutes so far in Big East play, and they're actually an overall -11. That's quite the contrast between what we just looked at with Villanova, and what I'd say to look for early on is when it's starting unit versus starting unit, Villanova is going to have the advantage. I would anticipate them building some leads at the start of each half, but expecting Butler to make a run when they get to their bench play, and we'll explore that here in just a short bit. Now back to the Villanova side of things, when we start to talk about bench play and what we're looking at, that is where Villanova's been a bit weaker so far in Big East play, and I want to focus in on two key reserves. The first being Demir Cosby-Roundtree is one of the first reserves that Jay Wright is relying on and coming into the game here, and secondarily Joe Cremo. Those are the two main players I want to hone in on. And first we'll take a look at Cosby-Roundtree. So if you just take a look in terms of the assist production for various units on the court, the starters are an excellent passing team. I think they're generating a good bit of their offense through their ball movement, through their offensive efficiency here, and that's to the tune of 19 assists in 37 minutes on the court. Now, if you take a look at the immediate lineup, which is essentially the four main starters here with Booth and Gillespie and Bay and Pascal, and you add Cosby-Roundtree into the mix, that assist rate has been cut in half so far in Big East play. We're talking about 5 assists over 22 minutes on the court, and we are seeing we are seeing as you'd expect, the offensive production slip when Cosby Roundtree comes into the game. And what do I mean by that? If we scroll down here and we just take a look at Villanova's offensive efficiency when certain players are on the court, Cosby Roundtree's mark of 0.95 points per possession, that is Villanova's offensive efficiency when he is in the game, is really the lowest mark on the team for anyone playing significant minutes. And so that's been a pain point for the Wildcats so far, is going to their bench and seeing some offensive production drop off with Cosby Roundtree in the game. Now, what is Jay Wright's counter to that, right, is a move with Joe Cremo, who is going to provide that instant offense. So I'll actually stay right here. Cremo, when he's in the game, they're averaging 1.1 points per possession. And so that's kind of Wright's move to say, all right, I want to right the ship offensively. I want to get some additional instant offense. Let's go with Joe Cremo. The Achilles heel with that is, as you can see just to this table to the right, is that's actually when Villanova plays some of its worst defense of any individual player being on the floor. When Joe Cremo's on the floor in Big East play, Nova is giving up 1.11 points per possession. And so really that is the Achilles heel of this Villanova team, is trying to find consistent positive productions outside of the starting unit. So on the flip side here, can Butler take advantage of Villanova's perceived weak spot of a little bit of holes in their rotation? And I think the answer is absolutely they can. Even a quick peek at individual plus minus for Butler in Big East play, you'll notice the first two names on the list. We have Jordan Tucker, we have Nate Fowler, the top two individual plus minus. Certainly individual plus minus isn't the full picture, but it always is interesting to me, and you don't see this that often, that someone's top two plus minus individuals are non-starters. And so that is really where the key to some of Butler's victories in Big East play has been coming from, has really been the play of their bench, and specifically what Tucker has been able to do along with Fowler to elevate that play. To unpack that just a little bit farther, and you scroll down here to the 5-player combinations, so far in Big East play, Jordan Tucker is really the centerpiece of all 4 of the top lineups that Coach Jordan has running out there, and it would seem to me that Jordan is aware of this. In fact, I'd say most games Jordan Tucker is playing a starter's minutes, even if he isn't starting the ball game off. And so look for that in this game. I'd predict some early leads, some building upon leads at the start of game and start of half for Villanova. And when Jordan Tucker's in the game, and maybe in a couple of lineups here with Nate Fowler, that's when Butler will claw back. That's when Butler will make their runs. It should be a back and forth affair. And it'll be exciting to watch as we go down to another game that goes down to the wire in the Big East is what we're expecting. So should be fun on Tuesday evening. All right, and that is what we have for our preview today. Again, as always, if you're interested in this, you can check out a full suite of statistics like this on StatHouseAnalytics.com. Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, men and women. Have at it. We'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Thanks, everybody.